us off, baby.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. I'm Neil.
I'm Pat.
I'm Michael.
And this is the 4-on-1. We're covering everything in the football world. Boys, how are we doing this week?
Oh.
Podcast time. It's time. We are ready. We're feeling good.
Let's do it.
It's pod time. We got ties on. We're ready. Love being back here. Hope everybody's quarantine is going well. Praying for everybody. Rhode Island, Massachusetts, all around. Hope everybody's happy and healthy. How are we, boys?
I'm doing amazing.
Yes.
I'm ready to kick it off just with Pat's little introduction. I'm ready.
We got 3-day week this week because Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. So we have Holy Thursday and Good Friday off, so let's go.
Big Catholic school. Take it away.
So today we're going to be talking about, obviously, Pat's news, but specifically, are they going to draft a quarterback in the upcoming draft? Should they? Pros and cons, or if they were or weren't. Michael, kick it off.
All right, so I want to start off by saying that I'm actually pretty happy with the current Pat situation, given the timeline that's transpired, over free agency and just the offseason as a whole. So this is a gap year. No one is thinking the Patriots are going to compete this year, obviously. I would say maybe a wild card at best. I don't see anything higher than that. What I think is important is that
8, 9, anywhere in between 8 and even 10 wins would be a stretch.
Yeah, I would say 10 wins.
You scared me when you said they're not going to be a threat.
Oh, I didn't say that. Okay, all right.
Michael,
yes.
writing off this team immediately.
Not writing off the team. I just said they could be a playoff team. But anyway, they got lots of picks in the draft. They have a healthy balance of, veterans, young guys. Talked about that in the last podcast. And I think you got to really compare Jarrett Stidham and Tom Brady and see how Stidham is getting more mature, more of a pocket passer, just like Brady. I think Belichick is really comfortable with that situation. But I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick just, pulls a complete 180 and drafts the guy in, the second, third, maybe fourth round this year just to add some insurance to that position.
I would agree, but I would also disagree with the fact that I think Belichick is comfortable with Stidham. I don't think he's very high on Stidham right now. I think that...
Oh, yeah.
Where's they going with this?
Hold on. You know where we're going to find that out? If he drafts a quarterback or not.
Right.
That's where we're going to find it out.
If Bill Belichick drafts a quarterback, he won't be the starter. He'll let them fight for the spot first.
Yeah.
And I think he's also been... He's kind of been, ever since he got rid of Garoppolo, he's known Tom's time is running short and has been pretty much searching for Tom.
He's been planning for this.
Since then.
Yep.
Yeah. The guy's no idiot.
Michael, take it away, my friend. I want to get into this.
So obviously, I think it's pretty apparent that there are better quarterbacks in this draft than Jarrett Stidham as of right now. From what we've seen from him, his hype going into the draft, there are some quarterbacks that are going to be better quarterbacks than Stidham. So to start it off, I'm going to give my top 5 quarterbacks going into the draft this year. These aren't necessarily Patriot picks. These are just the top 5 quarterbacks on the board, whether or not the Patriots should draft them or not. So number 1, it's an obvious one. Got Joe Burrow out of LSU. He's projected to be a top 5 pick. He's the consensus number 1 pick. He threw for 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, setting records. He won the Heisman. I mean, this is just an obvious pick all around. My take, though, it's going to flop in Cincinnati. I see him being a very subpar quarterback at best. I think he's going to show flashes, but he's not going to succeed. I think it's going to be a lot like Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield, very hyped up quarterback.
For once, Michael, I'm going to have to agree with what you're saying because for once, I'm going to have to agree with what Michael's saying. It's because he's saying that he's flashy. He's a flashy, look-at-me quarterback.
Yep.
Those quarterbacks do not, statistically, history shows that those quarterbacks do not do particularly
that was
well.
All right. But that was a cool video of him sitting in the chair with the cigar after.
I was thinking about that when
And that's just the problem, dude. It's awesome, but it's cocky as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you won the national championship. He's still a kid. Let him live his life.
No. Let him be a kid. You're not a kid
not
anymore.
going to the league.
Not
Uh-uh.
if you're going to
That's
the league,
true.
dude,
I agree.
I'm
That's
serious.
true.
I'm not
I
even joking.
misspoke.
You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a
So,
job.
I think a very interesting thing
Who
that
else?
is being
Who else?
very kind of under wraps is that Joe Burrow before the season was projected to be a 4th-round pick. He had a very average season for LSU in 2018. He goes from number 4 to the consensus number 1 pick in the draft.
That's unheard of.
That's a pretty big stretch. It reminds me a lot of Ryan Leaf, who was a quarterback coming in really early 2000s. He got picked over Peyton Manning, and Ryan Leaf is notorious for being one of the biggest busts of all time. So,
Imagine being that guy.
right? Oh my God, I
So
know. So number 2, again, pretty consensus. Tua Tagovailoa. I don't. A lot
Tagovailoa,
of
I
different
think?
pronunciations.
I don't know.
Out
I
of
was trying to figure
Alabama.
out because I figured I was gonna have to say his last name. I couldn't just say Tua.
Yeah.
Like I better figure out how to pronounce it. I think it's I don't know.
Yeah. So he's projected to land somewhere in the top 10, probably I'd say top 5. He has the potential to be a very good franchise quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Before hurting his hip, he had 2,800 yards for 33 touchdowns. Good decision maker. He can scramble if he has to. He's a very accurate arm from what I've seen. Obviously, I'm not a big college football watcher, so a lot of the stuff that I kind of took down is from what the combine has had. But I saw Tua, obviously, from Alabama. You got to watch some of those games. So I've got a pretty good look at him. The one thing that worries me a lot is his injuries. He had an extremely rare hip injury earlier in the season that took a big chunk out of his junior year, which will happen to be his last year after obviously going to the draft. He had a high ankle sprain earlier in the year against Tennessee, which doesn't bode well for his feet, obviously. He's had injuries literally dating back to high school, and that's a big, exclamation point to me that you got to really look out upon.
Injury proneness, Michael, is a problem. I'm not even going to say I'm going to disagree with you, but I would bring up the point. Quarterbacks have done it before.
Agreed.
Players have been injury prone. Take Rob Gronkowski, dude, the most injury prone tight end I think ever.
He got his career injury cut. He got his career cut short because of injury. That's an awful point to bring up, dude.
It's not an awful point because it
if
doesn't
he
take
wasn't
away.
Injured, he wouldn't have had so many 4 or 5 game seasons and then had to retire at 30.
I'm just saying it doesn't take away from his skill.
Agreed.
It does skill, yes, but being able to use that skill in the field, yeah.
A fair point.
Do either of you think Tua ends up on the Pats?
No, I don't think so. I think because he's gonna go top 5. I don't think the Patriots have the ammunition in honestly whereabouts to want
to be honest,
trade that high.
it's ballsy for the Patriots to draft a quarterback first round. I don't even think that's definite.
Yes,
to trade up and get a quarterback like first couple picks.
Trade up, I don't think is ballsy. I think the trade up and draft a quarterback, I think is ballsy.
Yeah,
Because a lot of these top quarterbacks are gonna go in like the top 16, and that's a very high price.
I don't see Tua lasting very long in New England if we don't make some serious O-line changes.
Oh yeah, because he's also a lefty, which is a huge point.
They're going to
now you got the right tackle.
Gives him a new blind side.
Yep, exactly. So obviously, like we're talking about now, with protection, guys in the NFL hit twice as hard as college. So his health is really a big concern to me. So at number 3, I have Jordan Love out of Utah State. So Jordan Love, yeah, I already see Pat. Yeah. So, so it may come as a surprise.
Wait a minute. Slow down.
All right, hold on. Let me give you my rundown. So it may come as a surprise. A lot of scouts have him going anywhere from the 1st to 3rd round, but his stock has been dropping. Jordan Love was voted the most overhyped player in the draft. But I'm buying into the hype. I'm buying into it. Love threw for 3,400 yards for 20 touchdowns, 17 picks, and a completion percentage of 62%. Very okay numbers if you add in the interceptions.
So Michael, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you just admitted that you're hopping on this train, everybody's hopping off it, everybody thinks he's overrated.
Yes.
Why? Why is he on your 3 list? Because first of all, everybody watching, that's crazy. That is insanity.
Because he's a ballsy thrower, and I love it. Players like this in this draft this year, in this 2020 draft, these quarterbacks are really, really conservative. They don't make these crazy throws. Jordan Love is a guy who will go out. He's Jameis Winston. He is a gunslinger. That is my
Exactly.
yes, but
He's a
Jameis
ballsy.
Winston, he just threw 30 picks in the NFL. And I think he's going to be a starting quarterback next year. This guy is falling into the 4th and 5th round in some mock drafts and might not, and potentially couldn't be a starting quarterback.
Does he
If
make
he's- if
ballsy
it's completely-
passes?
Yes.
Does he make ballsy passes? Yes, dude. He threw 17 interceptions.
Jameis Winston just threw 30 picks, and he's going to be a starter next year.
And that's and that is going to be the biggest problem for whoever takes him. That is going to be such a huge problem.
But all right,
He's-
but I'm going to get into it in a second.
Hold on 1 sec, because I have to intervene. So he is lacking in one quality. He's got everything physically. He's feet, arm, whole package.
Yeah,
Football
decision-making.
football IQ is a little lacking.
Yeah, but that
You know
comes
who
with
is-
being in the
hold on.
NFL.
You know who is the best teacher of football IQ ever to exist?
There you go.
Bill Belichick.
So, Pat, that's
Would not
kind of
be
where I
surprised.
was going to go with this. The guy has a literal cannon for an arm. He
does
has
have a
the
cannon.
biggest arm.
He
in
doesn't
the-
have the biggest arm in the draft.
Okay, maybe
And I'll get to
Justin
that.
Herbert.
And I'll
Justin
get to that
Herbert, maybe.
later. I disagree. And I'll get to that later.
All right,
All right,
Michael,
This
so-
guy, no. I want to talk about this guy.
All right,
he
go
is
for it.
not a Patriot. He's not. The void
Okay.
that Tom has left, okay, it's a hard void to fill. And I don't think necessarily, it's going to be a hard void to fill for anybody. And I don't even think necessarily that we need to see Tom Brady 2.0 in the backfield. He doesn't have to be the pocket passer, but I think this guy is so not what the Patriots have
What
seen
you
before.
have to remember is that the Patriots offense right now is geared for a guy named Tom Brady. So you can't bring in like a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts and expect that you just won't make any moves in the draft or free agency and think that your offense is going to run smooth. You need to have a guy that somewhat fits the game plan in the system that Tom Brady had beforehand.
And he doesn't.
And quote me
I
on
know.
this. Jalen
I
Hurts
never
will be a
said-
Patriot.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
I never said it. I never said he should be a Patriot. I'm just saying in the draft, I think he is the number 3 for talent.
I said he could be a Patriot.
No, that's
Well,
ridiculous.
I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
not
There's
at all.
Every team, Neil, every team has a certain mold that you have to fit.
Agreed.
Once again, I am not telling you guys that it needs to be Tom Brady 2.0 in the backfield. A pocket passer, slow feet, high football IQ, decent arm. I'm not telling you that. But he needs to be, he can't be the polar opposite. Because we've conditioned this team, voice
Exactly.
crack, around that. So it needs to be roughly like that.
But they're going to revamp the team anyway. They're bringing in new wide receivers. I wouldn't be shocked if they signed a new running back.
If they're
Like you said last pod, the team typically, the offense typically goes around the quarterback. So they try to mold teams
Ooh,
around
running
the
back?
quarterback.
The Patriots pay top 5 salaries for running backs. They're not going to go out and get a new one. They
Dude.
have Sonny Michel, James White, Rex Burkhead, and
they're
Damian
fine
Harris.
with running backs.
all
This is what I
looking
have to say about this guy.
But
The
receiver,
Patriots right now.
Receivers, yeah, but
need-
we'll get into that in a later podcast.
Michael,
Yeah.
Neil, you talked about this before. Who is the main leader in the locker room? Player,
the quarterback.
It
quarterback.
depends. Quarterback most of the time.
Most times the quarterback.
Yeah.
His combine notes included decision making and accuracy needs severe improvement.
Okay.
And I think Belichick is the perfect dude to whip him into
decision
shape.
making, not leadership.
I'm
And no
all
one's
I'm
at,
s-
dude. You already have a lot of leaders in the Patriots. You're not asking this guy to command the locker room on day one. He's a rookie, and he
No
could
way.
be a
Fair.
3rd or 4th round flyer. You don't know. You don't think. I don't think this guy's gonna have to be required to command the locker room on day one. Maybe the
True.
offense, like
the
a,
offense.
a little bit, yeah. But
That's
all
a
right,
tall
anyway,
order.
We'll talk about that
Yeah, all right.
at a
so
later date. Number 4, I have Justin Herbert out of Oregon. He's
Mhm.
projected to go somewhere in the top 16. He's usually mentioned with the question, who are the best quarterbacks in the draft? This guy usually makes the top 3 list. But the big headline surrounding him, and something that I've actually read about as of recently, is that he's an Oregon quarterback. Now, Oregon quarterbacks, they underachieve in the NFL as long as I can remember. I mean, you go back to guys like Marcus Mariota in
Mariota.
that Chip Kelly offense, where it's designed to look at one receiver the entire play. Like, you're not really designed to survey the field. That's why his name has been compared a lot with Marcus Mariota. and he may not pan out, and he's getting a lot of doubt. He's got a cannon for an arm, just like Jordan Love, maybe even bigger. He has big size, but he needs to work on his decision making. That's all I really have on him. I just don't think that he really fits the Patriots system. I think he makes a lot of stupid decisions that doesn't obviously. Patriots are one of the most efficient teams in the NFL, so that isn't a good mix. But at number 5, just kind of quickly rounds it out, I got Jake Fromm from Georgia. He's projected to go anywhere between the 2nd and 3rd rounds. He is the epitome of a pocket passer. He is the epitome of Tom Brady 2.0. He had 2,800 yards last year with 24 touchdowns while passing 60% completion
And he's
rate.
he is a serious contender for the New England Patriots.
I think so too.
And I will get into that.
Yes.
But continue.
They led Georgia to a national championship in 2017. He's a really good game manager, good accuracy, good on 3rd downs. Again, these are all like from the scout combine report. These I didn't watch
Fantastic
Jake
leader
Fromm
in
a
the
whole lot.
locker room.
Actually, he has a few things saying that he's more on the quiet side and isn't the best leader.
Interesting.
But yeah, but then again, reports are skewed sometimes, so they differ. But I think the best word to describe him is really efficient. I mean, he doesn't make any stupid decisions, doesn't make any bad throws. He's really good on play action, makes some of those dangerous throws that you want. And I think he has all the solid traits to be a solid quarterback in the NFL. So that's kind of my take. But now, quickly, just gonna round it out, and then I'll be all set. I'll kick it off to one of you. Who I think the Patriots should go for. I love Jordan Love, no pun intended. But Bill won't go for him. I think we all know that, except for Neil. I think he's way too different from Brady, and I think that he just doesn't fit the scheme. I think that, Bill could teach him. I could potentially seeing Jordan Love taking a backseat behind Jarrett Stidham for a year or maybe half a year. Maybe learning.
Maybe
under
trade him.
Stidham.
Maybe, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, something like that. I like Fromm, though. I think Fromm is the best pick to be if the Patriots go out in the draft. He has an affordable price of like a 3rd-round pick, maybe 2nd round. You can spend a 3rd-round pick while having a 1st-round pick on like a tight end or offensive line or one of their other team needs, while also securing like a possible franchise quarterback in Jake Fromm. I think he's the best fit for Bill. And maybe, like I said before, play a year under Stidham. Maybe, learn a little bit from the guy who learned under Tom Brady. Learn under the best coach of all time. Stuff like that can really help you. Like we've talked about in earlier podcasts, how like quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers had multiple seasons under Brett Favre. Guys like Patrick Mahomes had 1 year under a veteran. Stuff like that. I mean, Brady had a few years under Bledsoe, or maybe a year under Bledsoe. I just think some of these quarterbacks need time. And if you give time to Jordan Love to learn under Belichick, then you might have a good franchise quarterback. So I'm going to end it there. I'll kick it off to one of you.
Agreed.
Who wants to
Hop
take
in. Go for it.
Me?
Yeah, all you.
We've talked about Jordan Love. Okay. Jordan Love, 17 interceptions. Michael is has diced this up very nicely for us. He reminds me of Jameis Winston, and it scares me.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay, he sliced and diced it. It was very nice. Okay, he's not a Patriot. Tom left a hard void, and I don't believe this guy can fill it. The Patriots have taken. The Patriots can't take one more risk on this guy. The Patriots are in too much of a fragile position right now to say, hey, we're gonna throw a guy like Love into our system, and it might work.
Agreed, and that's why I'm not super hot on Love. I just think if they were going to listen, I don't initially think that the Patriots should go into the draft saying we need a quarterback. I don't think Belichick's high on Stidham, like I said earlier, but I also don't think he minds, or at least has a problem with starting Stidham week 1. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if they drafted a Jordan Love or someone that's lower profile and not like a Tua or a Joe Burrow to trade up that high, but to play under Stidham and just have that backup in case something were ever to happen.
I don't think you can draft a quarterback in the 4th round and say that you have full certainty that this guy is going to be a really solid quarterback who's going to lead your dynasty back. That's just my take. I mean, how can you draft Stidham and say, this is our quarterback in the future?
You're not going to find another Tom Brady. It's not going to happen.
Obviously.
But I think that's something we all need to realize.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts.
Oh wow! Didn't even mention him.
Interesting. Did not.
So let's talk Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right out of a mediocre run in Alabama, goes to the Sooners, balls up. 3,851 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. Sounds appealing. CeeDee Lamb has come out and said he is not vocal, he is not a leader. That's a problem when Patriots are looking for somebody that they can kind of shape their team around. And no matter what, even though you have leaders, some fantastic leaders on the defense, veteran leaders, who are veteran leaders on offense besides maybe Edelman? We need a guy who can. It sounds stupid, but like, gotta
David
bring
Andrews.
the,
If David Andrews is back,
I
Shaq
think
Mason.
like
I think it's the most difficult position. I would love to just sit on once Corona's over. I would love to sit in on just one Patriots like scout GM meeting just to see like what they're thinking, because they have to replace Tom Brady. How do you even begin to do that? What do you look for?
what someone like him, but I don't even know what. I don't even think they should do that. 20 of the 32 of this guy's touchdowns were taken himself. He ran them himself.
That's a really scary thing. And a lot of people may say,
20 out of
Lamar
32.
Jackson 2.0. But
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think so. I just think it's really risky. But then again, there were some scouts coming into the 2018 draft saying, convert Lamar Jackson to wide receiver. And now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So there are scouts that come out and say, this guy doesn't have a good arm, not a great leader, stuff like that. And they'll like translate really well into the NFL and maybe develop an arm.
This is not what the Patriots are looking for right now.
I agree.
It can't be.
1000%.
It's not be, and it can't be. It can't. This will not work.
Because I think that the model of this podcast has just been like, does he fit the system in the game plan that they have? And I just don't think they do. Because you have an offense, like I said before, you have an offense designed for Tom Brady. So how can you bring in a guy like Jalen Hurts, who, like Pat just said, ran 20 of his 32 touchdowns, and think that your offense is going to run the same, if not better? Because you can't. You don't have that offense.
You're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, maybe because you have a lot of running backs, and that's kind of what the Ravens have right now. But they fell in the divisionals last year.
Right.
Was it the 3-week rest, or was it not having enough downfield weapons? Who knows? But they didn't have enough catching weapons last year, and they fell in the playoffs.
I got my guy. I got my knight in shining armor.
Okay.
I got my guy.
I gotta hear this.
Jacob Eason.
I saw him. Don't like him.
Jacob Eason.
So tell us why. Tell us.
Jacob Eason out of Washington. Watching ESPN, I saw his tape. This guy looks like Tom Brady. This guy.
I want that
looks like Tom Brady.
Jacob Eason looks like Tom Brady.
This guy fits the somewhat mold, not perfectly, the somewhat mold of what the Patriots are looking for, which brings some sense of normalcy to the locker room, okay? Somewhat of normalcy to the organization in general. He lost his job to Fromm, which is really funny that we're talking about him possibly being a potential quarterback for the Patriots, who's also, of course, in the talk. This guy's arm.
So you want to draft a guy who lost his job in college, but you think he's going to maintain a starter job.
And then tore up at Washington.
Yeah, Washington, dude. Washington, not Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State. Washington. Washington doesn't face these crazy teams.
And you know what? I'm going to take back what I said about – I'm going to somewhat take back what I said about Brady. I don't think he fits like, oh, he's Tom Brady. I get a vibe from him. And the difference is his arm, because Tom Brady never has and never has and does not now have a fantastic arm. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, so Pat, what else do you have on this? Then I want to hop into something.
Okay. He brings a familiarness of throwing to out routes to slot receivers, but he can also shoot a floater down the field. Cough, cough. Edelman, he's a pocket quarterback.
Down the field. Edelman is the opposite of down the field.
I know that. I know that.
You don't have a down the field guy.
I know that. I said he can throw like little slant routes to slot receivers, but he can also throw the deep ball.
To who?
To
who? Who? No, not Sanu. Sanu is like Edelman. They have no one to throw it deep to. They have no one.
And maybe that's another thing we look for in the draft. And that's fair. But in my opinion, he's one of the best arms in the draft. He has the know-how to take on the big bag at NFL, which is completely unforgiving. Eason's my guy.
Okay. Neil?
Just you wait.
So I found it kind of interesting that Belichick was looking to replace Brady as soon as he got rid of Garoppolo. And that makes me think, does Tom want another Tom Brady style quarterback?
You mean does Bill want another Tom Brady style
Does Bill want another Tom Brady style quarterback? That's up to the two of you.
And that's why I think someone.
Already? Hold on. Just look at this. Look at the quarterbacks that you've drafted in recent years. Jacoby Brissett. He's another option they could trade for. I don't know what his dead money or contract is like, but like the Colts just signed Phillip Rivers. Maybe Jacoby Brissett. We'll talk about that later. But Jacoby Brissett, pocket passer. Jimmy Garoppolo, pocket passer. Danny Etling, pocket passer. How can you tell me that they're gonna go out and get a guy like no one is, but I'm saying how can you tell me they're gonna go out and get a guy like Jalen Hurts, who's a scrambler, doesn't fit the offense at all.
But and I guess I'm going back to my point. This is an unprecedented time in the Patriots' history, dude. We've never seen anything like this. I agree. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if it were to happen anytime,
yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be. My final thoughts is that this is going to be an interesting draft for the Patriots. It's going to be an important draft for the Patriots. I see the Patriots. It would be good if we drafted a guy first round as a QB.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts. Let's go around the horn. Run out of time. Neil, do they draft a quarterback?
I'll go first. I kind of just gave mine. So I think the real question is what we got to watch for is, and with the draft coming up, and if they end up drafting quarterback, it'll tell, and who it is will tell us a lot of, are they going to try to mimic Tom Brady's role
I agree.
in that QB spot, or are they going to try something new? What's Belichick doing? That's what I got. I don't initially see them going out and getting quarterback first round. That's just my take, but we'll see how the next couple weeks in the draft pans out. Michael, final thoughts?
I don't think Bill has his mind set on drafting a quarterback right now, but I think, if Jake Fromm is, left in the 4th round, I think they might get him. If Jordan Love is left in the 5th or 6th round, which one scout said might happen, I think they might go for him. That's kind of just what I think. I don't think quarterback is necessarily number one on their priority list right now.
All right. Pat, what do you got?
I'm ready. I got the energy. I'm excited for this season. Once again, interesting draft, exciting draft, important draft. Pat's forever.
All right. Sounds good, boys.
Click it up. Very nice.
I'm Neil.
I'm Pat.
I'm Michael.
And we'll see you next time. Let's go!
Let's go!